Hey guys, it's Matt, NW2, in today's video we're going to be taking a look at this Lionel Legacy New York, Ontario, and Western NW2 diesel. Okay, so we're going to start off with some general info on this particular model here. This engine was cataloged in Lionel's 2016 Volume 2 catalog, so it took a long time to come. It just shipped December, and I actually got mine a little bit later. I got mine in mid-January here, but this is an amazing engine. It's a real home run for Lionel, and I'll definitely go ahead and show you guys all the cool features on this model. So without any further ado, let's jump right in. Alright, so we're going to start off on the bottom here. Now, on the bottom, what we have here is something really nice. We have a fixed pilot on the bottom here, and I really like this. It's a lot better than the traditional, pilot connected to the truck, kind of like what this engine has over here. It has the pilot and the truck connected so they turn together. Well, on this one, the truck is a separate piece and the pilot is actually connected to the frame, and it looks much more prototypical that way, and it just looks great. It's also open, as you guys can see, so the only thing we have here is the coupler. There's no inside to the pilot, and there's also a gap down here. And I really like the look of this. It looks really, really cool. And the coupler is an operating coupler that you can throw from the remote. And we also have a coupler cut bar right here. Moving up some more, we have this really nice looking number 116 and the New York, Ontario, and Western logo. I really like the front of this. It looks great. And then up here we have a headlight, and it does have leaded number boards on the side of it. And I also really like this particular grab iron right here. It looks really cool. Alright, so now I'll move down to the bottom of the engine here, and we have the truck side frames, which look really good. You can see there's both of them there. And then we also got the builder's plate right down there. And then we have the fuel tank. Now, the fuel tank on this one's actually pretty interesting in that the motor is actually inside the fuel tank, not the speaker. And the reason for that is because Lionel wanted a better speaker in the engine. So they put the speaker in the cab there, and when I fire up the engine, it will be able to see the cone of it a little bit better. But what they did for the motor was, it's done very much in the same way an Atlas engine is a switcher, that they have the motor in the fuel tank and it drives both of the trucks. So this one and this one are both powered off the same motor, unlike a regular engine where it has a motor per truck. But this one uses one motor and it drives both trucks, and it's really good. And this engine runs so smooth, and especially being a switcher, it's got the 2 speed tables. This thing just will crawl along so well. When I run it, you guys will be amazed. So we're going to move on now. Alright, so now we'll transition over to the back of the engine. So right over here we have the road number 116 and the O&W logo over there. And then we have the back. Now the back is my favorite spot in any switcher. It just looks so cool with the windows that you can see out of. It just looks awesome. So we have a whole bunch of really good handrail work. And then we also have the backup light, and this has lighted number boards on it. And then we have the 116 right over here. And then same thing with the pilot, fixed pilot, coupler cut bar, and operating coupler. A couple things to show you up top, and then we'll run the model. So right under this panel here with the convenient little grab iron on it is the engine control switches. So we have the smoke unit switch and the run program and smoke on off switches. They're no longer doing the Odyssey switch, which I think is a great idea because I love speed control, so I never shut it off. So I feel that was a very good move by Lionel. And this particular hatch just goes back on like that. And then we have the bell right here. And then we have these 2 smoke stacks. Now both of these do smoke. There's one smoke unit. It's got a funnel that goes up on top to each stack. And this thing will smoke you out of the room. I'll run the smoke unit very briefly in the review running part. But this thing just smokes so well. It's really a great smoker. And then over here on top of the cab we have a horn. So that's going to take care of the review part of this thing. Let's go and fire it up and run it. Alright, so we'll go ahead and run this engine in just a second, but first I want to give you guys my favorite feature. I've actually got two on this one. The first is the fixed pilots. I really love these things. I kind of forgot that it had fixed pilots, and so it was a real surprise when I got the model. And my other favorite thing is the speed table. As you guys know, being a switcher, like I said, it does have the two speed tables, and you change between them when you actually lash it up with the road engine. Like a road engine being anything that's not a switcher, like any one of these three SD70s or anything besides a switcher. And it'll automatically do it, and then when you get out of the lash up and you run it by itself, it'll change back to the switcher speed table. This thing just runs so well. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and run this thing. Alright, so I have to run the model with TMCC in this video because my legacy set is acting up, so I'll go and fire it up here. You guys can hear, listen to that prime mover, it sounds so good. So let me go ahead and uncouple the cut of cars here. Let me bring this thing forward just a minute so I can show you guys the back of the cab with the speaker. Yeah, you can just barely see it in there, but it's there. The speaker. There you go, right there. That's the speaker right there. And it just, like I said, sounds so good. So, speaking of sounds, let's go in here. Here's the horn. Here's the bell. And then I'll do the RPM levels. Now this prime mover was recorded from a real NW2. It was a Western Pacific one. I forget the road number, but it's really good, so let's go ahead and hear that. There you go, you're on the roof, so I'll bring it back down now. Nice, I'm going to fire up the smoke unit. It'll take a minute for this thing to get going, but when it goes, it goes. And then here's some crew talk.
Tower, I'm made up, ready to pull. Am I clear to make a move? Over. Negative, please hold. Over. Understood. Standing by. Out. This is the tower. The lead is all clear. Over. Thank you much. Cleared onto the lead. Out.
Alright, so I'll go ahead and get this model running here. See what I was talking about? Alright, one more thing I'll do before we get this thing going is I'll throw in sequence control.
We are moving. Over. Acknowledged. Yardmaster out.
Go ahead and turn up the RPMs, you guys can see this thing really smoke.
I've got 4 car lengths to this car. Am I clear? Over. Yes, the lead is yours. Over. Roger. All clear to make our cut. Out. Yardmaster, clear onto the lead. Out. Stopped in the clear. Over. Good work, the tower out. Yardmaster, work's done. We're going to beam. Out.
Alright guys, that wraps up for this review. I tried to do my best as far as the switching session goes. I think I did okay. But this engine, definitely pick one up if you want one. These things, I have a good feeling they're going to sell out. These were $500 retail, and I got mine for a really good price. I paid $415 with shipping from Pat's Trains. So if you want one, I would recommend giving Pat a call or your favorite dealer. These things are really, really nice. And they came out recently in the new catalog with the SW7, which is very, very, very similar to this one. In fact, I believe they use the very similar tooling. So, but this one's really great. So, I'll probably do more videos with it in the future. So, until the next one, I'm Matt, Trailer for 943. Take care.